Ba-na-na-na-na-na. What is up, everybody? Philyfli Show checking in here, kicking in Right Way Production Studios, and we are back for another week of great fights. June has been going to be exceptionally good to us. Unfortunately, there's 2 pay-per-views in June, like I've said multiple times, but with those 2 pay-per-views comes great fights, and the 2 fight nights that we get in between, fire. And this is one of them that is coming up here. This is going to be UFC Fight Night. Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley, or Joaquin Buckley. I'm making fun of his name there a little bit there. Just wanted to quick toot the little horn here for the Philyfli Show. Last week on UFC pay-per-view 316, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley was a pretty good card for us to pick here. 10 for 13 on them single picks there. Very successful night. I felt very accomplished there. There's some quick shout outs that if you didn't, or glimpses that I want to take back on. Quillen Skull Kid is definitely a top 5, guaranteed top 10, pretty gonna possibly be a top 5 competitor with the lightweights. His grappling and striking together skill of MMA is just gonna be far superior over anybody else's coming up as he learns, because he shows the glimpses already in his second fight in the UFC, and if he just learns from there, it's gonna be that guy's gonna be way hard to stop for most people. He could be the answer to some of these outstanding wrestlers we have in the lightweight division. That was one shout out. What was my other shout out here? Ooh, my bad one that I got wrong was I thought Chaos Williams was gonna win his fight against a guy who making his UFC debut, but Andreas Gustafsson showed me up, and that's what the fight game does for you. And another one that, I said it'd be a close fight, but I picked the underdog in it. Kevin Holland's jiu-jitsu is gotta get a shout out for what he did to Vicente Luque and submitting him the way he did. Yeah, you don't just do that unless your jiu-jitsu is on fire, and I just want to see him fighting at welterweight still, and I literally think that Colby Covington fight that he keeps calling for, perfect setup for that fight. So, but we are here for a totally different event. We are here for, like I said, Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. It's going to be a pretty good welterweight event. Get to see if Kamaru Usman still has it in the welterweight division. He has been on a 19-month layoff, so that will be pretty interesting to see. Co-main event is decent, but we're just going to jump into it here. Match like number 13 on this UFC Fight Night is Jamie Lynn Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Man, her name's a little hard to pronounce, but this fight, the odds makers have it pretty bad, but both these girls need a win to stay in the UFC, so I think it's a tidbit closer than what they're saying on the odds cards. Jamie Lynn Horth is a negative 700 favorite, whereas Vanessa is a plus 480 underdog. We're going to go Horth on 3 out of 5 on the confidence level there. This is a fight that I bet, but at the same time, I just wish you could get Jamie Lynn Horth on a better odds. I mean, if you pick her decision win, it's probably a better bet, but it's not as safe of a bet than just picking her on the money line. All right, match like number 12, we'll jump to the welterweight male division. Phil Rowe versus Ange Lusa. Lusa is a negative 140 favorite, whereas Phil Rowe is a plus 120 underdog. Lusa needs a win in the UFC probably to stay in, and so does Phil Rowe. Phil's just not been very consistent. He usually will get like 2 wins out of nowhere and then goes on a 3-fight lose streak. Phil will have a good reach advantage here. This was a hard one for me. I'm going to go with the guy who just has shown to be the better striker in Phil Rowe. Lusa just has not been consistent. His gas tank has really been his biggest downfall in this division. So I'm going to go Phil Rowe here, but I'm not very confident. Only 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that Phil Rowe gets his hand raised after the fight. Jump to the male bantamweight division here, where we get Ricky Simone versus Cameron Sutherland. Cameron is a plus 325 underdog, whereas Ricky Simone is a negative 450 favorite. Cameron Sutherland, look, he's got the skill set to be a top competitor and fight guys like Ricky Simone. The only thing that scared me here in picking the underdog, which I'm not picking the underdog, just a heads up, was the bad weight cut. He took this fight on short notice, and then at the weigh-ins, he just did not look himself. So, with a bad weight cut here, and Ricky Simone being the more experienced fighter in here, I'm going to go with the experienced fighter, and Ricky Simone with that negative 450. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He'll get his hand raised after this fight. Match like number 10 here is a flyweight division male fight between Cody Durden and Jose Oka. Cody is a plus 155 underdog, whereas Jose is a negative 185 favorite. I'm going to go Jose here, but he did not look good in his UFC debut. Came up short, but sometimes, like we said, those lights come on and that you do an adrenaline dump in there and you lose your gas tank. So I think he bounces back because he does have very, very good MMA skill set. Cody Durden, though, he is a brawler, so don't slouch on him. Like I said, I'm picking Jose, but only 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that he can get his hand raised after this fight. Match like number 9 is a crazy odds maker difference. It's a bantamweight fight between Malcolm Wellmaker and Chris Mohino. Chris did fight Sean O'Malley, and he went the distance with Sean and took every one of Sean's punches. He looked like a guy that could compete in the UFC. Didn't really come up there on a second fight. Came up really short. Got cut from the UFC. Went back to the drawing board on a smaller promotion and got his second call up. But he's had a bad weight cut. Didn't look muscular. It didn't look good on there. So, and Matthew Wellmaker is just that prospect is one of the top ones. One of the guys that is considered going to be champion in the bantamweight division. Matthew Wellmaker is a negative 2,500 favorite. Chris Mohino plus 900. I wouldn't touch this fight with a 10-foot pole on either side. It's just not worth it. This is one of those fights that you just sit back and watch the fireworks. I do like Wellmaker on a DFS if you want to take someone super short later, but that's something I'll throw on the old Twitter and show you what I like later. But yeah, I'm gonna go Wellmaker. 4 out of 5 on the confidence level. He gets his hand raised. I think he gets a big knockout, and I think this was a bad idea for Chris to do. Just not very good. But hey, to get back in the UFC, sometimes you gotta do something bad to do something good. All right, match like number 8, we'll jump back into the welterweight division. We get Michael Chiesa and Court McGee. Michael's a negative 370 favorite. Court McGee plus 280. Look, I get why they make Mike I get why they make Mike the favorite. It makes sense, but this big of a favorite against a guy who's good on his back, that's not always good. But so is Mike. Mike's super good from his back. His jiu-jitsu's really good. Mike, though, both these guys are up there in age, and it's kind of the end of their careers, so I just don't know what fighter's going to show up. I picked Michael Chiesa to win 1 out of 5 on the confidence level because I don't trust this fight at all. Just, not a good one. Not a good one. All right, match like number 7 is a featured prelim bout in the light heavyweight division. We get Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. Bellato negative 400, Paul Craig plus 300. Craziness. Look, Paul Craig has fallen off the map, has not had a good couple fights here at all. He has not even looked like he's been able to compete, taking shots to the head. He likes to be on his back, and he's good from his back, but when he takes a shot and falls to his back, usually he just ends up getting knocked out. So, and Rodolfo's a guy that you're not going to mess with that power. He's just going to be able to put you out on your feet, and he can also grapple from the top. So this is just laying out perfect for Bellato to get a perfect win here and even a finish. 3 out of 5 on my confidence level, he gets a win. In fact, I'm going to predict he gets a finish. Very, very, very good finish. All right, we'll jump into the main card here. 6-leg main card. Stay in the light heavyweight division. Match leg number 6, Alonzo Minefield versus Umar Sy. Umar is a negative 800. Alonzo Minefield plus 500. Look, Alonzo Minefield's got great power, great striking. He's pretty well rounded in his MMA skill set. The guy he is fighting though has got the prospect bird's right behind him. So this one was a little hard for me just because I think Minefield's experience could play a big factor in this. But hey, Sai's going to get the win. I'm only 2 out of 5 on a confidence level here just because Alonzo likes to upset the party. All right, match leg number 9 here. Or not number 9. Where did number 9 come from, guys? Match leg number 5 here is Mansour Abdul Malak versus Cody Brundage. It's a middleweight division fight. Plus 550 on Cody. Mansour is a negative 900. Mansour is the last one on here that I will say this because it was the only one that I seen that was bad. He had a bad weight cut too where he did not look good on the scale. Cody against guys who are... Cody's been a roller coaster style fighter. He's got the skill set, but for some reason it just I think the fights that he takes just don't play out in his favor. And again, he takes a fight where it's a difficult fight. I don't like the negative 900 on Mansour with the bad weight cut, so I'm gonna pick it. But it's a scary fight to pick just because Cody could win this fight. It's worth a quick $20 bill on Cody too at plus 550. Totally worth it, but it's a scary fight to pick if you're picking this. So 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that Mansour can get his hand raised. We'll jump like the match like number 4 in the bantamweight division. Cody Garbrandt versus Renoli Barcelos. Barcelos is a negative 235 favorite, whereas Cody Garbrandt's plus 290 underdog. Look, I can't pick Cody to win a fight until he wins a fight because he has not looked good. He's just not looked like the fighter. Ever since he's been knocked out 3 times in a row, it's just been fights for him. I don't know I didn't know where to pick this because of that. Because Cody still's got hands, but for some reason he doesn't use those hands anymore. He doesn't like to get in the brawl fights no more. Whereas Renoli Barcelos can prove that he can bring the fight anywhere. He's a little bit up there in age, but hey, he still brought it to a young Peyton Talbot, who I did not think he would beat, and he beat the living snot out of him. So I'm going to go Rene Barcelos here, just because Cody has to win a fight for me to start picking him again. All right, match leg number 3, we'll jump back to the middleweight division. Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petroski. Andre's a plus 125 underdog, whereas Edmund's a negative 150 favorite. Look, Edmund has the skill to be a top middleweight fighter. He can grapple pretty decently, and it's good grappling defense. His striking's where it's superior. His problem has been his gas tank, I think, and training too hard, I think, is why his gas tank's been down. Showing that he's starting to get that on track a little bit. He's going to have a tough test in Andre Petroski because Petroski is a well-rounded MMA fighter. He's not the greatest striker, but his grappling is superior, so that's what makes him well-rounded to me. And I usually would go with the well-rounded grappling fighter, but for some reason, Andre struggles against guys who do have some grappling defense. So if Edmund can land a shot before Andre starts taking over with the grappling, it's a bad night for Andre. So I'm going to go Edmund Shabazian here. Let's see here on the confidence. Only 3 out of 5 on the confidence, actually. So I wasn't feeling it when I said it here, but on paper, I was feeling it, I guess. But Edmund's looked better in his last few fights, so that's why I feel a little better about it. All right, co-main event of the evening is a female flyweight division fight. We get Thug Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. Now, Thug Rose is a negative 235 favorite. Miranda Maverick plus 190. Look, Thug Rose against Tracy Cortez showed she still got it. Thug Rose against Erin Blanchfield, who is up-and-coming potential. Great prospect potentiality. She didn't do so good, whereas Miranda did this where I thought she was coming up, and then she hit the snag. Thought she was coming up again, and then she hit the other snag loss. After that snag loss, so she's been on a 4-fight win streak. She has beaten girls up that I didn't think she would beat on 2 occasions. One was Patrilla Kachea, and the other one I cannot think of off the top of my head. But I'm going to go Miranda Maverick with that plus 190. I think it's going to be too much. Rose has not shown that she is the same fighter anymore. Age seems to have caught up with her, or something behind the scenes has gone up with her. She has just not looked like the same fighter. So I'm going to go Miranda Maverick here on a big, big underdog win, and only 1 out of 5 on the confidence because Thug Rose is still Thug Rose, and we all know who that is. We get to the main event of the evening, guys. Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin is a negative 280 favorite. Kamaru Usman plus 230. Look, you can pick Kamaru. It's not a bad bet. Philyfli show is going to go with Joaquin Buckley. There is no doubt about it. Kamaru's knees and his age, I just think, have been his benefactor and his downfall. The fight with Chimaev gave me hope because he looked okay, but that was at 185, and I just don't think his home is at 185 whatsoever. I think his home is welterweight, and the only way he ever gets back to a title is through the welterweight division. But he's got to get through Joaquin Buckley on Saturday, and that's going to be a very tough slate with Joaquin being on a 6-fight win streak at welterweight and looking just absolutely amazing. At middleweight, he just wasn't big enough and wasn't strong enough to compete with everybody. At welterweight, he is big enough and strong enough. Even though Kamaru is bigger than him, when I see him at the weigh-ins, way actually bigger than him. Like, it looked like it was a pretty big deficiency. I still think Joaquin, though, gets a big win. I think Joaquin's power is going to be too much for Kamaru. Kamaru's going to go in for grappling, and that's where he's going to learn that Joaquin can grapple too. And that's going to be the downfall of Usman if he loses on Saturday, unfortunately. But he has had a 19-month layoff, so he could get back in there after. If he loses on Saturday, he could get back in there and get a win and get back into the competition. But as for Saturday, it's a Joaquin Buckley night. All right, y'all, that's going to be the Philyfli show here for the week because it's a quick UFC fight night, and I got this under the 18-minute mark, which is what I like to do for the fight nights. We usually been getting in the 25 minutes for these pay-per-views, but 18 minutes about seeing about where we get to. All right, shout out to Right Way Production Studios for always making this happen, and we will see you all next week. Peace out.